And who's gonna wake you in the morning? And who's gonna keep you when storms are coming? I will always. And who's gonna teach me how to listen? And who's gonna love me without a reason? Will you always? Through all the trouble and all the worry, time's gonna bring our way. With all the beauty, through all the heartache, will we always? And who's gonna kiss the tears you're crying? And who's gonna love you while you're dying? I will always, oh, I will always.
It's like a movie, I can't take my eyes off you, and I don't want to. When you smile, I wish time would stop for a while. I think the day that you walked my way, and I've spent my whole life searching for something like this, and in your heart I found it, and it's so